Here we are, ready for our week 2 check-in on the Amplify Our Feminine Energy Challenge, where we have been practicing receiving. It's interesting, actually, so I hadn't known that other people were going to talk about practicing receiving this week, and yet I heard about it from a sewing podcast and from an etiquette class I was taking. Everyone's talking about practicing receiving. So clearly, it's a thing worth working on that people are making efforts for. So let's talk about how you're doing, how I'm doing for this midweek check-in. So I want to start with the third thing that I suggested in the short, which was to say to a glass of water, literally out loud, "I receive your nourishment," before taking a sip. Because I will admit that I was very skeptical about this one, but you know what? I'm going to try all the things, right? And I've now grown to the part where I say it to my food, as well as to my water, as well as to other drinks. It is amazing. So we all know, right, that there's an element of when you believe in your heart that a food is good for you, that your nervous system talks to your digestive system and it manages to pull out all of the good nutrients that are available in that food, versus, say, when you eat some fast food and you say to yourself, "Oh, this is such junk," and then your body just doesn't digest a whole bunch of it because it believes it shouldn't. There are papers, you can read them. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking about that when I talked about the before drinking a sip of water, say, "I receive your nourishment." But this week, I've been thinking about it. And what's more, I find that when I say it to any piece of food or drink that I'm consuming is the right one, any piece of food that I'm consuming, that I'm really aware of what I'm eating in a way that I'm usually not, even with last week savoring this whole extreme awareness of the nutrients that are in my food because I have talked to them is so glorious in terms of the mindfulness that comes with it. So yeah, I was skeptical about this one, but it's working for me and I recommend it in terms of practicing receiving. Next item in the practicing receiving suggestions that I gave you earlier this week was to, what was it? No, I had a whole list. What was the thing, friends? Was to let people do things for you. Oh my goodness. So I've been really good about this one, largely because I don't have a choice. You can see my beautiful brace on my hand here. I have broken a bone. So every day, whether I want to or not, I am asking someone to do something for me. My spouse put my socks on for me this morning. My friends have driven me places. You ask people at the grocery store to please pull something down for you from a tall shelf. And there's this element this week of making sure that I'm thinking about it in a way of receiving and practicing instead of from a sort of frustrated independence point of view. And that's been really beautiful and has definitely helped me with practicing. Don't go out and break a bone, but if you do go out and break a bone, let that help you with your practice. And the third thing that I had suggested in the short video at the beginning of the week was taking compliments gracefully. And this one has actually become easy for me over the previous few decades, but that's because of some advice that I got when I was like 12 years old. So I'm going to tell you a personal story now, but it includes someone else's advice, and you can follow her advice too. So when I was in middle school and high school, I was a theater kid. So, you do community theater, you do little road shows. I sang in some malls. And people come up to you after the show and they want to say, "Oh, you did such a good job." And sometimes they mean it, and sometimes they mean you did such a good job for a 12-year-old. It doesn't matter. The point is, they want to give you a compliment. And at the time, originally, I definitely had trouble with this, as did people that I knew, right? You want to say, "Oh no, I'm not that good," or "Thank you so much, but I'm just the understudy," or something like that. But that's not good for the people who want to give you the compliment and then they don't go away and tell their friends how great you were anymore. They're like, "Oh, you should have seen the person who was really supposed to do it," or whatever. So the director gave me this piece of advice. She said, when someone gives you a compliment and you believe it, you agree with them. You say, thank you. Very simple. You don't have to give any other qualifiers. When someone gives you a compliment and you think they're exaggerating a little bit, you say, thank you very much. And when somebody gives you a compliment that you think is the wildest hyperbole, you say, you're too kind. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're too kind. This is your spectrum of answers to a compliment. And this rubric made it so that I, and you if you choose to try it, could still have the belief in my head of, no, I'm not good enough, but you're still letting the person give you the compliment. You are still practicing receiving the compliment when you say, you're too kind. And what I have found, and I was thinking about this week, is I don't think about this anymore. I no longer use the rubric. I just say thank you. Sometimes I use the other ones because they sound nice, but not because it has any particular meaning. And that made it very clear to me that I have gotten much better at receiving compliments, and you can too. So that's all for this week's check-in. I look forward to seeing you all on Monday for another short telling you what next week's challenge will be.